think right there is fine.
Okay, so if you guys can come right here.
Okay.
Hi,
Jordan.
We'll need a little bit of space right here.
Yeah, so I would say like right this line right here, you want to take like 2 steps back. Okay. I think that's good, yeah. Okay, and then you two should be up front, so your shorts.
Oh, but you're not going to be here with us because...
No, here they come. Here come all the placards. They only wanted about 10.
Oh,
Thank you, Timber Clan. Yay.
Oh yeah, I wasn't there.
This is good. This is good.
Hey,
And then
we love
yeah,
them all,
the three
right?
guys will stand up right here.
Yes, but right there next to this tall girlfriend of mine. Perfect. That's good.
good for you.
Good girl.
Right.
Good girl, Jeannie.
Where's Sally? We lost Sally. Oh,
Here she comes.
Oh, she's...
You already did your DTC. You're already a star.
You know, I'm too tall for this, and you should get in front of me.
Okay.
I'm a tall, big person.
She's tall but not big.
Alright, sounds good. Yeah, that's where he's at, basically. And I'll try and keep that. Someone should tell him there. Yeah. Cool. That sounds good. Thank you.
Not tall.
I will. I'll show after the press conference.
Okay.
I'm Maddie Timber.
Nice to meet you, Maddie. Betsy.
Feel good.
You go, Jude.
Great.
Yeah. She's going to be terrific.
We're classmates from U of M.
I was just going to say, Judy likes this.
Yeah, I know. Well, we had some classes together.
Did you? We did.
Yeah, we did.
It's a riot.
I don't know what it was, but I know there was one or two of them. Probably history of the group.
Funny.
In the group generally?
It certainly wasn't physics.
I would offer.
Yeah, we already talked about it.
What were the years that you were at Project Rehab?
You're 73 to 78. We had a lot of fun there.
Okay, it's 5:32.
No,
You know the problem? There's so much traffic.
No?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So the press conference. And these are if she wants to just reference any facts. You good?
It was a junior league was really key.
Well, that's our guy. Who's the interviewer there on Sundays, who I love so much.
Taught me a lot.
I've never put some
No, you got it. You got it. Yeah,
and he's after me for this.
we'll make that.
I like him so much. He is so...
Yeah, that'll be just fine.
Yeah, I like him. I feel like I know him. Yeah,
I coerced her into getting up here.
I really do like him. Jordan Sunday.
Yeah, Jordan.
My video and I
Oh, neither wax poetic nor ecstatic. Jordan, you got a nice turn.
I can't wait to see it. He has it? Oh, good.
Gonna show you the whole thing?
I'll grab him and ask him. That is a riot. That is really fun. Oh, isn't that nice? Good. You like the junior league, so I'm glad.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I want to.
Good.
I don't know if
Do
I
you
can
know what
stand
his
here.
flag is? Does everybody know what his flag
Yes,
is?
for Ukrainians.
Isn't that great? Yeah. Great. Good for you. You get a gold star for that. Good. Good. It's a legitimate thing. Yes, that's great.
So much, things like this happen. There's always,
chance I was going to that thing is exactly what I was.
Yes, I agree. For good reason sometimes.
And that's when Gretchen first decided to do this. I know. And you knew that Bill Shirley was coming. Yeah, I know that he didn't go. I mean, if you knew him, you
How's
didn't.
your wise husband doing? How's your wise husband doing?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's busy working on growing Grand Rapids, amphitheaters and soccer fields and soccer stadiums.
President of the,
Yeah, he really loves to do
I'm one of the co-chairs of the museum expansion program.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be fun. So we got a lot of good projects going on.
Yeah, I know some talk about an aquarium too. I don't know where all that's going.
That's
Second.
kind of in the future. The zoos will talk about that.
And Muskegon is on that.
She's coming out this way.
I understand.
Cars destroyed. They don't know that that big of a bird. That's the truth. That's impossible to make up. I met him at fundraiser.
You ever go back to the Kappa House?
East Grand Rapids.
Been quite a while since I've been in the Kappa House. We still go down to games though. We do like one or two a season.
We're waiting and waiting.
Well, I've got 3 grandkids there now.
Oh, yeah? Wonderful. My daughter went and has 2 degrees.
I can't remember whose house it was, but
Back to our masters.
it was nice. No, it wasn't a case.
I was
We
on the
couldn't
phone.
go that one. We went to the one. Yeah. I feel like walking around town with them.
Actually, we contact occasionally with
He stays so
whenever I saw her.
he stays so calm. His questions are wonderful.
All right, Jim. Ready to go? Governor's coming on out now.
She lives in. How are you? Look, nice to see you. Good afternoon. My name is Jim Haveman, and what we're going to do here today, I'm going to say a few quick comments and then turn it over to Judy Fry, then over to Senator, former Congressman Joe Schwartz, and then to Governor Whitmer to say a few words. This is an exciting day because this is a day where we're announcing that there's a large group of people, and you saw many of those names of Republicans in this state who said that we need 4 more years of the leadership of Gretchen Whitmer in this state. I happen to be the Director of Community Health for 2 governors, both John Engler and Rick Snyder. I've spent 14 years in Lansing. I've seen what it takes to be a governor, how complicated it is in dealing with appropriations and so many of the policy issues that make such an economic influence in this state. So it's one of the reasons, the primary reasons, when you have somebody who's been a state representative, a state senator, a governor for 4 years, it certainly warrants and supports, and that's why this Republican movement is going to grow and is being launched today in this state to support Gretchen Whitmer for 4 more years as the governor of this great state. And with that, I'd like to introduce Judy Fry.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Judy Fry, and I'm a moderate Republican, and I'm supporting Governor Whitmer. And for 3 reasons. 1, she's a fighter, and she has the grit and the resilience to stand strong, to face the challenges, and she's had a lot of challenges. And she has the guts to veto the bad legislation that comes across. Number 2, she looks for common ground on issues of business and public education and health care. And speaking of health care, she supports the full suite of reproductive freedom, including contraceptives, infertility, miscarriages, and abortions. This election is too important to just stand by and watch. This is the year that all Michiganders, including moderate Republicans, must vote for the best candidate for our state to continue our progress, defend our rights, and that is Governor Whitmer. Thank you.
Well done. Well done.
I apologize for this thing. If they told me when I was jumping out of helicopters in Vietnam that I would hurt my back, I wouldn't have jumped. Right. So, anyhow, it all came to roost. Anyhow, I'm Joe Schwartz, former state senator, former member of Congress, former mayor of Battle Creek, and moderate Republican who is very strongly supporting Gretchen Whitmer's re-election as governor. Her first term has been superb, in my opinion. Some of the things that she has done, I believe, should have been done previously and not done. And one of the things I admire you most about is your very strong support for higher education and the 15 state universities that we have in Michigan, which are superb. There's no other state that has a family of state universities like this state. So that's one of the reasons I'm tremendously supportive of the governor. Otherwise, as a physician and surgeon, she has been very supportive and understands the problems that we have in healthcare and has tried to very, very hard to try to get to the bottom of them and to solve them. And finally, you're a very strong supporter, Gretchen, of public education. And that's all of us, I think most of us, are graduates of public schools. The Battle Creek Public Schools, and I appreciate that support very much. Your first term has been superb, and I'm here with all the people here today to hope the next term will be as good or even better than the first term, and I know there will be a second term. Go get them.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I'm humbled and grateful for the support. This is a moment where we have got to come together, and I think many of the things that bind all of us standing here are we care about democracy, we care about decency, and we care about individual freedom. We may not agree on everything, but these are fundamental to who we have been in Michigan and who we need to continue to be. I was raised by a pro-choice Milliken Republican and a Democratic mother who often was a little more conservative than my pro-choice Milliken father. And, you know, I think that it's important to always remember we got to be able to sit at the table and talk to one another. And that's how I was raised, and that's how I've governed, and I strive every day to find common ground, because I am the governor of Michigan, not a partisan, but someone who's got to get things done for the people of this state. So, Republican, Independent, Democrat, I'm fighting to make a better life for every Michigander. I still believe that there is more that unites us than divides us. And when we focus on the fundamentals, it's easier to see that we want the same things: a good paying job, high quality education, safe communities, thriving small businesses, and of course, strong infrastructure. We've earned support from Republicans across the state, including all the incredible leaders who are with me today, additional business leaders, former lawmakers, and top staff serving under Governors Engler and Snyder. And these are people who share our commitment to finding common ground so that we can continue to build a stronger Michigan for everyone. So by bringing people together, we've made a lot of progress in this state. And that is what this campaign is all about, and that is what every day I'm fortunate enough to be the governor of the great state of Michigan will drive the work that I do. So I want to thank the incredible people who are stepping out publicly and saying that this is a place where common sense Michiganders can find a seat at the table. We may not agree on every single issue, but when it comes to our democracy and decency and personal freedoms, we're going to be able to get a lot of work done together, and I'm grateful for all of your support. And Jim, I know you personally put time in, and I appreciate that so much. Judy and Joe, thank you all. Really, thank you. All right.
Time for a few questions. We're going to start with Channel 3.
Maria Serrano with News Channel 3. Thanks so much for being here. As you know, your opponent, I actually contacted her for this event, and she had a few words, and I want to read them to you, and I want to get your response on this. She said, she called you a cruel and heartless governor. She says, we'll take the support of today's Republicans over the Lansing's big government cocktail crowd any day of the week. What's your response?
You know what, you might want to ask some one of these other folks here how they respond to it. I'll just say this. You know, we have a choice to make, and it is a stark one as we think about what the next 4 years in Michigan mean. we're making huge progress. I just signed my 4th budget. It's bipartisan, it's balanced, and it makes a historic investment in public education. We've landed 25,000 advanced manufacturing jobs in Michigan. We stole a headquarters from another state that landed right here in Grand Rapids, showing that we are leading in life sciences. There's so much good work happening. I want to continue this good work, and I'm going to stay focused on the issues, not get distracted by name calling and other stuff.
Thank you. What's your response, just one more question, to knowing that there are Republicans here supporting your campaign?
I'm grateful. You know, I have tried to stay focused on the fundamentals, and when we focus on delivering for the people of Michigan, it is nonpartisan and it benefits every person. I am a Democrat. I'm proud to be a Democrat. I'm also a governor who recognizes I serve every person who calls this state home, whether they voted for me or not 4 years ago. I'm grateful for the coalition that's coming together to say we want Michigan to be a leader, and we're going to put partisanship aside and do the right thing, and I'm grateful that so many people are willing to step out publicly. I invite others who are moderate or who look at kind of the state of politics today and wants a problem solver instead of culture wars.
Thank you.
Next question.
Governor, you mentioned the budget that's now. A lot of the negotiations this year were done behind closed doors with Republican leadership. It included a record $1 billion, of course, with some really questionable spending items. What do you have to say about the budgeting process, and do you intend to continue those types of negotiation processes if you're reelected?
Beth, I would just say this. You know, we have had a historic opportunity. In May of 2020, projections were we would have a $3 billion deficit. Thanks to the Biden administration and good management through all of the incredible challenges we've had, it's a $7 billion surplus. We delivered a budget that makes historic investments, and we left $7 billion on the balance sheet. It's not a budget that looks like the one that I introduced, but that is what negotiation with the legislature is all about. Ultimately, they are a part of the process, and that's why, despite some of the chaos, I've continued to make sure that we stay close and have those conversations. Ideally, would there be more opportunity for people to participate? Yes. But I'm proud of the budget that we got done, and I'm committed to continuing this work every day that I am lucky enough to serve as governor of the state of Michigan.
What about contributions for folks like Bob Showstack?
I'm not quite sure how to respond to that, Beth. I think that's a...
$15 million for a Salem Township development.
I understand. You just said contributions. I know that there were a number of things in the budget that were legislative priorities, and I encourage you to follow up with some of the legislators.
We've got a bit. Simon, next one. What would your message be to a voter who voted for former President Trump perhaps twice, doesn't agree with the entirety of your platform, but was repelled by what might have happened after the 2020?
Well, I think that, you know, this is an opportunity. I recognize that we may not agree on every issue, but I am focused on solving problems, and I will sit at the table and make room for any person who wants to solve problems. What I don't have time for is people that just want to wage culture wars and talk about things that aren't going well. Let's solve problems. And so there's always a seat at my table. I think that there are a lot of people in our state who maybe have never voted for a Democrat before, who are worried about losing their personal rights to their own bodies, or who are worried about the state of our democracy, who support public education. These are people that we want to reach out to and say, you can find space here. You will be respected, and I will fight to protect every person in this state.
Two more. Let's go to Rick.
Joe, you're not afraid to answer a question, right?
Rick and I have had back and forth a lot of times over the years. Go ahead. Speak up really loudly, would you?
As a former member of the state legislature, how would you have dealt with these past 4 years and the interaction that this governor has had with the legislature?
As a former legislator and a former Republican legislator?
Yes.
I learned when I was in the legislature for 16 years in the state senate that you have to work across the aisle. You have to sit down and talk things over with people. You have to come to a solution when a problem presents, and it may not be 100% what you want, but you got to sit down and you have to deal with people. You can't go off on some sort of a partisan rant, which has happened a few times in the last few years. I think Gretchen is doing a great job. I think she has tamed down this legislature to a degree that some good things have passed through the legislature. and I would only say to my good friends in the legislature, let's all work together. We'll get a lot done if we do, and if you don't, it's no good for the state or any of the people in the state.
Is there going to be a PAC form raising money for the government?
I'm grateful that a number of these people have been supportive and in every way you can be, and so I don't know that there will be a separate PAC started. No.
And we've got time for one last question right here.
Alice?
So the news about Chief Justice McCormick broke today. Have you thought about who you might nominate?
I love how eager you are, Allison. Obviously, this is news that has just been released. I think that we have got a really important process to follow, make sure that we get great candidates and then vet them. And ultimately, I'm incredibly grateful for Chief Justice McCormick's leadership. She took the helm and really made our state Supreme Court work very well together in a manner that is befitting and honorable. And I think that that's something that I'll have in the back of my mind as I consider who might possibly fill her shoes.
That's all the time we have. Thank y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Shall we go in and have a enjoyment? Thank you.
Do you want to go inside?
Good to see you.
There you go. There you go. You put it all together. We do.
Good job, Gramps. Good job.
I got to get a picture of you and Joe before we leave.